Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with WildC.A.T.s issue 7. This is Killer Instinct chapter 3, which crosses over with the Cyberforce comic during this time period, and this book was absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and talk about who made it real quick. This is, as said, Killer Instinct chapter 3, Showdown. Jim Lee, Brandon Choi co-creators, Brandon Lee and Jim Lee stories, Jim Lee pencils, Scott Williams ink, Joe Chiodo colors, Ben Fernandez, Joe Dunn color separators, Chris Ianopoulos doing the letters. Here's everyone else working on the book, and the print date on this was January 1994. Ooh, I didn't even realize this was the first print. Woot woot. And we open up on Stryker, who I believe is the leader of Cyberforce. And Cyberforce was created by Mark Silvestri, I believe. And I love how this character looks like Cable. He has 6 arms on each side, I believe. And he used to be a minion for this group called Cyberdata, which, again, this is 1994, so I think it was kind of supposed to poke at Cyberdyne, because there's a lot of Terminator references you can see here. And Cyberdata made all these enhanced human beings and kind of made them slaves, you know, to do their bidding for more technology, so your typical government type stuff. And I actually like this, is he was born a mutant with 4 arms. Okay, so he has 4 arms, I think he had 6. But anyway, I like that they actually used the word mutant. I'm surprised Marvel didn't get all bent out of shape at this time period. But anyway, he and his friends escaped Cyberdata and made Cyberforce. And I just love this intro. You just get their names, them leaping into action. You don't get a lot of this in modern comic books. I've said this before, but there's been times where they'll introduce a team like this and they'll say, like, Wolverine, he's a cranky head. Gambit, he likes coffee, but he likes it Cajun style. And it's just cutesy, and it kills the whole thing. Now, the plot with this issue is Cyberforce is supposed to be going into Gamora, as we talked about in the part 1 of WildC.A.T.s, because the Shocks, which is what they used to be, which are the drones of Cyberdata, are supposed to be doing something, I don't remember. But if you all recall from the last issue, which if you've not seen the review, pause this, go check it out, or pick up the book, and you're back. There's this character named Misery, and she kind of has Jean Grey's powers of telepathy, so she can mess with people's minds. And Cyblade, I think is her name, very much a Psylocke character and very much a Jean Grey character here. But she is controlling Cyberforce. Because they're coming in to the island. And you're thinking at first, why in the hell is Spartan fighting Cyberforce? They're supposed to both be hero teams. And Spartan's just like, my dermal refractors and thermal dampeners are supposed to completely cloak me. But your instincts seem to have gotten the better of my technology. Because here he is cloaked, and Stryker's like, there's nothing showing up, but I sense that something's here. And just boom, he takes out Stryker. And he's just basically saying, I'm sorry, General, I'll try to make this as long as I can, or hang in there, Major. So you're thinking, wow, why are the WildC.A.T.s bad? But it's because of Misery. And I like how, in the midst of all this, he's trying to focus on Stryker. He takes out, what's her name? I'm not very well versed in Velocity. I'm not well versed in Cyberforce. But he's able to turn around, and because he's part android, take out Velocity. And she's like, what? The filaments wrapping themselves around me as though they're alive. Don't worry. I've calculated your speed, trajectory, and point of impact. This shouldn't hurt much. And just the fight between these two with Spartan is awesome. This character, who, let me go back to my referral page, Impact, goes up against Maul. He's like, hang in there, Stryker, I'm on my way. I don't think so. You got problems of your own. That's all right. I was always a great problem solver. And he thwacks Maul across the field. And this is what I meant by kind of like the dry humor that adds a little bit of levity, is Maul's like, is that your best shot? No. This is. It'll take a bigger man than you to beat me. And he slams this big old piece of, I don't know what this is, like wall or whatever on Maul. Maul, that's funny. Anyway. And you just hear, you see the onomatopoeia there. I can arrange that. And Impact's like, oh man, me and my big mouth. Why don't we see if my foot fits in it? God, maybe just because I grew up around this time period that I'm biased about the dry humor, or that could just be me in general, but I just really lolled out loud for that. And then we'll skip across this amazing pin art right in the just random middle of the book, which is awesome. The fight continues, and while all this is happening, everyone's trying to get a hold of Misery so they don't have to keep fighting Cyberforce. And as I said, Cyblade, look at it. If that doesn't scream Betsy Braddock, I don't know what does. And even though Cyblade is quick, formidable, and quiet, like a ninja, Psylocke, Zealot just takes her out. She goes, perhaps had Misery not clouded your mind, the results would be different. But for now, you are beaten, sister. Concede, and our leader Spartan may be able to clear her imprint from your mind. I do not make this more painful than it needs to be. I am not your enemy. Can't be true. She said you were shocks. Have to stop you. And Zealot, being, one of the founders of the Coda, just kicks her in the face and she goes, not today, sister. For you, this fight is finished. And I just love how Zealot's just very point blank and dry when she's fighting. He like with the last issue where Cole was kind of bringing up their past and she's like, knock it off. And just the way they bounce off each other is just great. It's like a buddy cop thing, but ex-lovers essentially. Now she gets a hold of Ripclaw, and they're trying to get this stasis pod that's supposed to create this type of new synthetic beings that don't decay or get sick like humans do. But there's a twist to it, and kind of ties back into the back issue of how Misery betrayed Warblade, and how he says here, now it's my turn. And my technique's a little more hands-on than yours. I'm gonna rip your heart out. And you can see that poor Warblade, he just has not come out smelling like a rose from this, because you find out, spoiler alert, that from what I understand, if I'm wrong, feel free to make fun of me because I've not read the Cyberforce tie-ins to these, but Misery, Ripclaw, Warblade, they were all shocks at one point, enslaved to cyber data. And that's kind of how here Warblade killed Misery, and why there's kind of this quarrel between them. But yeah, I like that you finally kind of get some more information on Warblade, and I've talked about this, the cartoon on Tubi does not really, it kind of gives you a backstory on him a little bit, that he's like this programmer, and it was kind of nerdy, but this really gets into it. And I think that's one thing that I really enjoyed about this comic series, is how Lee and Silvestri work together to make their worlds intermix in that regard. So with that said, awesome story, beautiful artwork. I highly recommend this comic book. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if you can pick up a copy. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Wildcat bell next to subscribe, that way we can continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.